A lot of people around the nation expect that Coach Krzyzewski's drive to Indianapolis would come to a Final Four. Brad Stevens, well, maybe to watch the Final Four, but hey, this man has coached his way and his team all the way here to Lucas Oil Stadium. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be alongside John Rothstein and CBS College Sports' Steve Lapis with you on Destination Indianapolis, presented by the all-new Infinity M. And guys, Brad Stevens in his third year with Butler, Coach Krzyzewski has 3 national titles. Brad Stevens said today, those guys, they write books. I read books that they write. I mean, this is an incredible matchup. We talk about David versus Goliath with these teams, but in terms of the coaches, Steve, I mean, that's a great storyline.
It really is an unbelievable story. I mean, this guy's 89-14 in his 3 years coaching Butler. And the reason why I really marvel at what he's done, he's the one who recruited Gordon Hayward and Shelvin Mack. They had to retool this team, and he brought those 2 guys in who are his 2 best players. So you got to give him a lot of credit. And this is a very smart playing team. So, yes, Mike Krzyzewski definitely has the edge, but this guy's not chopped liver.
No, and you know, another part of that, too, is his demeanor. You know, John, when you look at Brad Stevens, all of his players say he's the coolest man they've ever seen. You call him Cool Hand Luke. I mean, he's the coolest man they've ever seen, and they say they take after it in the fact that they haven't felt pressure in this tournament.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit of story. I was on the treadmill yesterday morning getting a little workout in before the Final Four games. It's about 7:30 in the morning. This guy's walking out in the middle of Indianapolis just going to get a bagel, just hanging out. He's not even thinking about the fact that he's getting ready to coach in the national semifinals. It shows you all you need to know about Brad Stevens. He is like an equal line emotionally every time he steps on the floor. He doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low, and you really see it.
And I think the team plays like that. I don't think there's any question. And they play the same way every game. So he's a steady guy. He's got a steady team. Is that going to be enough? Well, that remains to be seen. But that guy on the other bench, he's one of the most accomplished coaches in the history of the game. So for him not to be, and you know what you say, is he going to be in awe? I think when the game starts, Brad Stevens not going to be thinking about the other bench. He's going to be thinking about what's going on between the lines.
And I can't imagine anybody would be in awe. I mean, he's already gone through head coach Boeheim. He's gone through Coach Tom Izzo. So Mike Krzyzewski's, next in line for Brad Stevens and Butler. Coach, as a former coach, when you look at these 2 guys, are there similarities in their styles?
Well, I think there's similarities in that both like to run motion offense. Both like to use the dribble. I think Duke has better players, obviously, right now. But I think in terms of having teams that everybody understands their roles, it sure does look similar. And Mike Krzyzewski's been teaching guys their roles for years and years. He's just doing it for a couple of years. And that's what I really like about this Butler team. Nobody seems to ever try to do something that they can't do. And that has a reflection on the coach.
And a big thing, too, conversely, on Duke's side of the basketball, you really can't appreciate how poised this Duke basketball team is until you see them in person. In the last 5 minutes of the regional final against Baylor, they were flawless. And against West Virginia, they picked the Mountaineers apart when West Virginia came out in a man-to-man style defense. So I just marvel at how poised Duke is down the stretch, and I really think that will be the difference on Monday night.
How poised Duke is, but let's not forget, guys, how poised Butler has been. I mean, they go 10 minutes without a field goal yesterday, Steve, against Michigan State, and still win the basketball game because they didn't panic.
There's no doubt both teams are poised. You don't get to this point and have a panic on either team. So both these teams are very poised, and it always comes down to, I think, when you have 2 teams that both are very steady mentally, who's got the better players. So I'm not going to say that Mike Krzyzewski doesn't have an edge in this game, but I think more than anything else, a game will come down to who makes more shots and who has the better players.
Should be a fantastic matchup all the way throughout. And Coach Krzyzewski looking for his 4th national championship, which would tie Adolph Rupp for the second most behind John Wood. And that'll do it for Destination Indianapolis, presented by the all-new Infinity M. And don't forget to go to cbssports.com/memorabilia. Enter your chance for the Inspired Coaches Sweepstakes. Win a signed basketball by all 4 inspired coaches. For John Rothstein and Steve Lapis, I'm Jason Horowitz. We'll see you tomorrow on Destination Indianapolis. Take care, folks.